So guys, this is my weekly report for March 16th. As you know, we got a lot of water come down this last week. I mean, the river conditions are, they're almost at flood stage. All the creeks are running like heck, and the river and everything's going to come up even more because all the water's still coming down. It hasn't hit us yet. But, I was down in the river the other day and the water's pretty high up on top, getting up close to the levee. So the fishing down there, the water is just muddy as heck. So, we're going to have to wait a little bit before, the fishing around here starts happening. So anyway, I hear some guys are still getting some crabs that got out before the storm, and they were getting some in tamales. But people are kind of like, getting tired of going out catching crabs. But inside the bay, the guys that work for me, Adrian and them guys, 3 of them went out to the bay the other day, and they were trolling for halibut, and they got limits. They caught their 9. They said they had a lot of action, and they were just trolling tray anchovies. And they said the bay had warmed up a little bit, and the water's in excellent shape. It's real clear, and they caught a lot of. They limited out, so the halibut fishing is going to start, and it should be a really good year this year. Other things inside, you come in a little further, and they're still catching a lot of sturgeon. I heard Jay had a phenomenal day the other day. They're catching a lot of sturgeon, and they're still using, a lot of guys are using roe, but I'm sure you could probably catch some on eel or shrimp too. But the sturgeon fishing up in our river, I haven't seen too many people because the water has come up so fast. But as soon as it tapers off and it levels out, I'm sure guys will be hitting the river here because, it's time. This is the time for sturgeon to start happening. And other things happening, I went out this week and I did a little looking around. Actually, I went out Sunday and towed my boat down to the river and turned around and headed back home because the water was so high and muddy I didn't even go out. But it's been, I'm going to have to wait a little bit, and I think if we don't get a whole lot of storms, and the temperatures are in the 40s at night now, and they're hugging 70 degrees in the daytime. So as soon as all this water tapers off and calms down a little bit, I think everything's just going to go crazy. You could go catch halibut, sturgeon, striper, bass, whatever you want. Trout, you can go up in the lakes and catch trout. But anyway, I was doing really well on bass down in the Delta before this last rainstorm hit. And it was really tough down there because the water was in the 40s. It very seldom got over 50 degrees. And I was catching them. I was catching them offshore. You could watch this video I did on last week. We did it on Monday. It aired Monday. And I explained what I was doing. And I was catching these fish offshore. They're staging, getting ready. They know that it's getting close to spawning time. And, they're moving up, making that move. And they'll hang there until the water warms up. So the water will warm up like 3 or 4 degrees now, the kind of days we're having and the warmer nights. And then once it starts clearing a little bit, I'm pretty sure it'll be in the mid 50s. And, I think things are going to happen. So the bass fishing will turn on real soon. The striper fishing, I've had many years in the past, I'm talking 15, 20 years ago, when we used to get a lot of rain like this. And once we got into springtime, and we're driving down the river and you see all the pear trees with all the blossoms on them, it's time. And I've even caught a lot of stripers in the river because they'll come up the river when the temperature comes up a little bit. And we bait fished. We used cut sardines and we caught the heck out of them. We would anchor up in like 8 or 10 feet of water right up against the trees and then balance the rods, with the sardines. And we used to catch a ton of them. And I know you could still do it. So when you got the water like this, and it's high and it starts to warm up and gets kind of clear where you can see down about 10 inches, I might even do a video on bait fishing because not very many people do it anymore, and it's a very effective way of catching them. Other than that, I'll be looking into the flats, in the flooded islands, trying to get a big one on top water or a big glide baits. because I think that's going to happen. But I think once it clears and the water temperatures warm up, I think all this stuff's going to happen at once. So you have to choose what you want to do, because you could go out and catch anything. So, you know, you just have to have your priorities right. If you want to go after big striper, go after them. But in the meantime, you know, there could be some big bass heading up on the beds. There could be sturgeon all over the place. The halibut could be biting in the bay. So, you know, you just have to make up your mind what you want to go after. Other things happening around here are some of your smaller lakes. With all this rain, it's going to get dirty. So lakes like Amador might be a little bit difficult now because the water is going to be more chocolate color. Where bigger lakes like Comanche, Buller's Bar, those lakes will stay more clear, and you can still go out and catch a lot of trout. They're still going to plant trout until the water temperature get up in the 60. Then they'll probably quit planting. But, you know, Pardee stays clean, Comanche. So those are the lakes I would go head up to, and they're still stocking probably every week to this day. Other things, you know, I'm still on SEP's radio show every Saturday at 6:30 in the morning on 1140 on the AM dial on the California Sportsman's. You know, I'm on there, and a lot of times I go in the studio and I tell what's going on at that time. So there's things that, you know, I'm learning even from now to Saturday. I learn a couple of other things where guys are catching them, and then I'll tell you guys. So, you know, tune on 1140 on the AM dial. Other than that, you could go to Buller's Bar, catch kokanee. Like I said, trout's available anywhere. I don't think you can get in any of the mountain lakes, so, you know, I will forget about that for a while. And, you know, just stick around here locally. And like I said, my prediction is when it clears and the storms are all done, starts warming up, getting in the 70s and 40s at night, all hell's gonna break loose. You can go catch whatever you want to go after. So anyway, that's my report for this week. And please hit the like and please subscribe, because it really helped my channel a lot. And also, if you want, click on the bottom. You can ask me any comment, any question you want on any of the hundreds of videos that I put out. And I usually get back within, you know, 2 or 3 days. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.